Hi everyone and welcome to another recipe video. And today I'm making this refined sugar-free banana cake, which is perfect if you love your cake but are looking to cut down on refined sugar, or for baby's first birthday cake if you don't want to introduce sugar to your baby that early. Now I was commissioned this cake from one of my friends for her baby's first birthday, and I'm literally just using very ripe bananas and Medjool dates to sweeten the cake, so it's all natural sugars here and no processed ones. And this is also a great recipe for using up overripe bananas because the riper they are the better. Right, so let's get started. We're taking 200 grams of fudgy, gooey Medjool dates, and we're going to soak them in 250 milliliters of boiling water. You can use regular dates if you want, but you'll need to soak them for a bit longer because they're a bit harder than Medjool dates. Or if you're using normal dates, then try boiling them rather than just soaking them in hot water. And as you can see, I'm removing all the seeds and the little hard stems. And I'm just making sure they're all completely submerged, and I'm going to let those soak for 15 minutes. Now of course we've got to preheat our oven, which we're doing at 180 degrees C. Got to get the oven nice and hot. Now we're going to take 115 grams of unsalted butter, which has been softened to room temperature, and we're going to mash in 3 very ripe bananas. Like I said, the riper the better. Just getting rid of all the stringy bits because we don't want bits in the cake. Just breaking it up with our hands. Doing the rest for all the bananas, and then we're just going to go right in with a fork and mash it. Doesn't have to be perfect and completely liquefied, just roughly mash it up. In fact, I find roughly mashed bananas are much better for the cake's overall texture. Last time I tried to completely liquefy the bananas it went really stodgy, so definitely here's a case of rough is actually better. Now we're going to crack in 2 eggs. These are just medium-sized ones. I've always wanted to be able to do that fancy one-handed egg crack, you know? I've been baking for so many years, never been able to nail it. Can any of you guys do it? Not that it matters, as long as the egg's in there without any shell, that's all that counts. So we're just going to give it a little stir here, and by this time it's been about 15 minutes with all the side faff. And now I'm going to blend those soaked dates along with the soaking liquid. Actually, using a hand blender here is a lot easier. The second time I made this cake I used a hand blender, so just bear that in mind. But it's still entirely possible in a jug blender like this. So now I am making sure to scrape every single last bit of this precious sticky sweet paste right into the cake mixture like so. And giving it a little stir here. You don't actually stir it at this point, I just did it for a little bit. But now I'm going to add some self-raising flour straight in, and that's 285 grams of it, which is quite a lot, but this is quite a liquidy cake, so you need a lot to soak up that liquid. Now we are going to stir it properly until it's all well combined. But try not to over stir it, like once it's all combined, stop, because the more you stir, the more you activate the gluten and the tougher the cake will get, so stop just as it's done. Now we're going to prepare a pan. This one's just a 26 by 36 centimeter baking tray, and I'm going to lightly oil, lightly being the operative word, the sides and the bottom. As you can see, I had a little bit of an accident, so I just wiped it away with some paper towel. Now we're going to line that very bottom with some non-stick baking paper, which will help us lift the cake out of the pan more easily. Getting really confused with my words here. And now all that's left to do is scrape all of that delicious batter straight into the pan. We're going to flatten it out like so, and then we're going to give it a good bash on the counter just to get rid of big air bubbles because we don't want any holes in our cake. So give it a good tap just like this, and now we're going to bake it for 30 to 35 minutes until it's golden and springy, and then leave to cool completely. Now we are just going to stamp some small circles out of our cake so we can make some mini layer cakes. I used a 4-inch diameter cookie cutter, and then once I frost it all up it actually becomes a 5-inch cake. And you can see how wonderfully soft and spongy and springy it is. Gorgeous. So now we're just going to set this aside for a few minutes while we make our frosting. And to make our frosting today, we're going to need 2 to 3 cans of chilled full fat coconut milk. Make sure it's full fat. For me, I find that Sainsbury's canned coconut milk here in the UK works the best. And you need to actually leave it in the fridge overnight for it to work properly, especially if it's a hot day, because what happens is the coconut cream floats to the top, as you can see. We're going to scoop that out. And there's a bit of water at the bottom, so you can see there's a hole there. I've drained that out in the sink, because we only want that solidified coconut cream. And I'm using 2 cans here, but if you want to pipe 2 3-layer cakes, 3-layer mini cakes, then you'll need more like 3 cans. but because I only piped one and spread the other as an experiment, I only used 2 here. And literally all you have to do is whisk it up like this to make a whipped coconut cream. That's it, no sugar, nothing else, literally just the coconut cream. And now it's ready to ice the cakes. So like I mentioned before, this recipe makes 2 3-layer cakes, and I'm just going to take 3 discs now to make one of those. And I'm going to sandwich them with some of that coconut cream. Now you can use a spatula or a piping bag to do this, so I just use a spatula to sandwich them, and then I go in with a star-tip filled piping bag to pipe on the rest, just so you have some patterns, as you can see here. I love piping, it's so satisfying. Just look at those perfect little stripes there. Please ignore the gaps, maybe not so perfect. And once you're done doing the sides, don't forget to do the top, and then lastly I'm going to dot some chopped up berries on the top. And I've chopped these up because they are for small mouths after all, for a first birthday party. But if it's for a grown up, whole berries are fine. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you'll join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full recipe on my blog tashcakes.com and find me on Instagram as tashcakestastes. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more. Give this video a like if you liked it to help other people find it. Comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you guys later. Stay safe, be nice, and have a good week.